Feeling a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
This video contains content that is not suitable for all audiences. Some of the information in the following video could be shocking to some viewers and is likely to cause unexpected reactions. This video is for educational purposes only and does not break any of YouTube's policies as outlined in their community guidelines. Viewer discretion is advised. Good evening. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. How is everybody tonight? Happy New Year, Lee. Hi, Rue. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Linda. Hello, Miss Sue. Hello, Miss Michelle. How are you? Hello, Miss Tammy. Hello, Miss Kathy. Hello, Hitman Odell. And the famous numerologist herself, Miss Sue. How are you? How is everybody tonight? Following a nice, I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We're ready for Wednesday night. Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network and Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch this evening. So welcome, come on in. And Tammy's asking if we have 3 cases tonight. You know, the case that we are doing tonight, and it's titled April's Story. We have talked about law enforcement kind of, it just seems like every case I've done week after week after week, they're dropping the ball. So I remembered this case with April Millsap from back in 2014. I wanted to show you guys an example of when law enforcement does everything right and look at the results. And April, it's just a very tragic situation, but, you know, to see when law enforcement and some of the things that they did in the course of this investigation, you know, it gives us faith. And also, I could not get by tonight with everybody's talking about the trial in New York. So I thought, oh, what a treat. Let's take a look at Trump's natal chart and his transits. What's a transit? Okay, I'll tell you what a transit is. This is a natal chart. You guys have seen natal charts. They are stationary. When the planets are going around the natal chart, okay, good. They go around, like, let's say the natal chart, the sun is in the middle and the planets go around it, but that's not, the planets are going around it. Okay? So the transiting planets are interacting with his natal chart. And remember, the natal chart doesn't move, but the planets that are moving, they are interacting with his personal chart. So I thought, let's take a look and see if we can kind of decipher what's going to happen with this jury, or if we can get any insight on it. I think you're going to like to see what the transits are doing because it's interesting. And what's going to be more interesting is the outcome and what the astrology is kind of pointing to now. And let's see what happens at the end of it. So it's kind of interesting. I thought it would be a nice little treat. And everybody's asking me about it. And I thought, well, I haven't looked at his chart for a while. I have looked at his chart prior, and I do know that he is a Gemini sun. I know he's a Leo rising, and I know he's got one of the holy stars, and it's called Regulus, and it's the fixed star in Leo. It's on his ascendant, directly conjunct, which is together. Regulus is conjunct his ascendant. What is Regulus? Regulus is in the constellation of Leo. He's a rising Leo. It's at 29 degrees. It is the king star. It's one of the luckiest stars, actually. It's fame. It's success. That's why it was named the king's star. It's in the constellation of Leo. I believe it's the heart of Leo. I'm not quite sure, but there are, so we'll take a look at that. I'll show you that. And I'll show you in his natal chart why he does a lot of yapping. And there's just really no quieting him. Duct tape wouldn't work. Keith and I talk about that. It's cute, and I'll show you why it's like that. So let's get started with April's story. I've got a lot to cover tonight, so come on in, you guys. Please put your notes in the chat if you guys have anything to say. So we'll take a look at everything that's going on. I wanted to show you guys this. I'm going to make this bigger for you guys so you can see it. There we go. This particular case is, Aiden Clune. We have covered Aiden's case quite a couple of times. Aiden's mom has been on the show before, and we've talked to. She's just wonderful. Amy's a wonderful mother. She has never stopped searching for Aiden, who disappeared in 2022. And if you recall, Aiden disappeared right around the time when Dylan Rounds, who was from Utah, disappeared. And at first, everybody thought that their two disappearances were connected, and they were not. Amy has noted that there may have been a couple sightings of Aiden in Salt Lake City. So I thought, well, let's keep the word out. I know that she gets searchers constantly and crews together to search the mountains where Aiden disappeared. So let's try to share, especially in the California area, in the West, Arizona, if you're in Utah, around Salt Lake City, let's try as many people as we can to share his face out there. Because if he did have any kind of mental issues, he may not have a memory. He may still very well be out there, and tips can come in that there may have been a sighting of him. So, and yes, it's been mapped. I did do her mapping. I'm almost sure you guys have seen that show. There were quite a few lines that went up to Salt Lake City. And actually, I told Amy to check the hospitals in Salt Lake City. But, so they keep checking in the mountain, they keep searching, and let's just keep our prayers out for Amy that Aiden is found. I just thought I saw that on my Facebook feed, and I thought, let's just kind of share his, picture around a little bit, especially California, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, those areas where he could be. So appreciate that. And I saw this weekend, and I wanted to give you guys a heads up on this because you're going to start to hear a lot of talk about this now because it's so phenomenal. What is going to occur in our lifetimes, astrologically, coming up, starting now, 6 months or so, now into 25 and into 26. I've never seen this in my lifetime. Maybe I have, but I don't think so because it's phenomenal what's going to happen. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown because it's very, very interesting. This is life changing in our world. It's occurring and it's huge. We have the outer planets, as you guys very well know, and I'll talk about this more on Keith's show. These are life changing, mind blowing transits that are upcoming. Now, we've talked about Pluto. It's going back and forth in Aquarius. All of the things that are rotten are currently crumbling. It's in retrograde now, headed back to Capricorn, comes back out of Capricorn into Aquarius in 2024, and it's there for another 15 to 20 years. It's another 20 years, I believe. So, Pluto in Aquarius reverts back to Capricorn fall of 2024. Then it goes back into Aquarius in 2025 for the next 20 years. Aquarius is air, the collective, equitable, ET, space travel, decentralization, power to the people, power for freedom, and who you are and how to contribution to mankind. Aquarius is all about mankind. It's the collective. Neptune, which is the psychic, it's where clairvoyance is. It's also can be where we're cloudy, where we get scandals can occur, secrets, dreams. It moves into Aries in 2025. It's a whole new generation of leaders, a different way to lead. Everyone is invaluable on this earth. That's occurring next year. Then we've got Uranus in Gemini, 2025. Everything is going to speed up. Technology will speed up, faster frequencies, global impact with these three outers. I can't emphasize how big this is. I cannot. This is huge. Saturn in Aries in 2026 is new beginnings. So we are shifting now out of earth and water signs, which are steady and slow and flowing with boundaries. We're going into air and fire. So we'll talk, it's a whole new frequency. We're going to talk more about it. But when you hear people talking about new earth, it's in the astrology. So I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up on that, but it's powerful. I can't wait. We've got about 6 months to yap about it and research. I do know the last time Neptune, and watch this, I do know the last time Neptune was in Aries, don't quote me, but I think it was around the Civil War. So you're going to hear a lot of that. But let's not listen to it because there were other extenuating circumstances with other planets as well. So don't fall into the fear trap. We don't fall into fear traps on mysteries beyond the scenes. We don't trip into fear. But it's really going to be an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be alive. So I wanted to give you guys that heads up. Now, let's talk about April Millsap. Okay, April Millsap's case, I'm going to go kind of backwards on this and how law enforcement got to where they went. I'm going to show you her event chart as well. But this, April's, I always show the map of where this town is located. It's Armada, Michigan. And that little picture up there, look at Armada, Michigan. Quaint, beautiful little town in Michigan. Look at that. Quaint little town. There she is. darling, 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 April Millsap. Now, when the medical examiner uh, testified in court, she testified that April had undergone 48 injuries, the bulk of which were to her head, neck area. 48. Now, I want you to remember this. April's 14 years old, and the most distinctive injury she had was a shoe tread on her face. It was a pattern. It was on her face. The same pattern appeared on her face, neck, and upper chest, which the authorities said were shoe prints. I want you to remember that. This is very important in this case. But the story of April is she took her dog for a walk, and she lived along a little trail called Macomb. I'm going to pronounce it Macomb Orchard Trail in Armada. She took her dog Penny for a walk in the evening on July 24th, 2014. Okay? At around 6:20. Now, this is what the officers found. At around 6:20, she had on a fitness um, app on her phone. At around 6:20 p.m., her pace suddenly picked up, and there were at least 15 minutes of frantic activity. Then around 6:28 p.m., April texted her boyfriend. I've got a copy of it. Okay, let me show you a copy of the text. Okay, I'll show you the text. Okay, there's Penny. She was walking Penny. April sent a copy of a text to her boyfriend, Austin. I think I almost got kidnapped. OMFG. Okay, that is the last time anybody heard from April. Okay, and that was to her boyfriend, Austin. So this is the garden, the memorial garden in Macomb Orchard Trail that was put up in April's honor. Beautiful garden at around the spot that she was found. Her body was found. Now, how the police pieced together April Millsap murder investigation. There's the perp. That's a picture of the trail that April was on. There is a picture of Penny. That is who she was walking, is Penny. Now, when April was found that evening, Penny was the hero. A couple saw Penny, panicked, barking, and this couple followed Penny back off the trail, and they found April's body. And so what had happened is she had been missing. So her mother and Austin, who received that text, showed up at the park. And of course, the police, and they identified Penny, and they described Penny. Penny had been taken to, out of the area, but they described Penny as the family pet. They had basically known that April had been found. The police jumped on this so quickly on this case. The community got involved. They put out information. Witnesses came forward and said, there were quite a few witnesses that came forward and stated, we saw, two girls that went to school with April. They saw her on the trail. They saw her talking to a man with a motorcycle helmet on and a blue and white motorcycle. When they walked back around the trail, the April was gone. The motorcycle was there, but there were no people around. The couple that found her. Then another father came forward and stated that another witness came forward, described the gentleman with the blue and white motorcycle, came forward, another witness. And then 2 women saw the perp back in the wooded area, didn't see April, and it frightened them, and they saw him as well. So there were a lot of people that saw him that evening. So the police had a perp, a motorcycle, and of course they immediately started with the drawing. Okay. So these are kind of out of order. So there's the composite sketch compared to the perp. And so this was the composite that they had to go on. The perp has not been identified yet. However, a policeman that was driving around a neighborhood saw a blue and white motorcycle. He went back to the motorcycle that was parked and got the plates off of the bike. They found out who it belonged to, went and visited the perp. And they didn't know it was the perp at the time. And remember, we still have this tread, this shoe marking, okay? An odd herringbone mark on her face. So his girlfriend testified, no, he went out. He went to his brother's house at such and such time. He was wearing another pair of shoes that did not have the herringbone tread. Okay. That was key. They had no DNA. They had eyewitnesses, but yet nothing to tie this perp, who was a person of interest, to the crime. So they went around and canvassed and found that the perp had, misinformed on what time he was at his brother's house from a neighborhood camera when he was going towards the brother's house. Now, you remember in 2014, Ring cameras were not what they are now. So this would have taken a lot of boots on the ground with the police. They were out there. They were active. They had the tip line immediately. They involved the community immediately. And I think that is so key with the cases that we have seen. Audrey was we saw the community come together for little Audrey that was found in the river. We have seen when a community gets involved, and it's not the drama, but they get behind and they look for their cameras, they look for witnesses, they get on social media, the cases get solved. We see it over and over again. And when they keep the community informed of what's going on. So what happened is the police went through this person of interest's Facebook posts. They found a pair of Jordans that they felt would match the herringbone on, the markings that were left on April. They went to a shoe store. They bought a pair of those shoes, sent them out for testing, and sure enough, those shoes that the perp was wearing in the Facebook pictures matched the shoes that the police went out and found. So now remember, we've got a girlfriend that says, no, he was wearing something else. He was home at this time. So he's got a quote unquote alibi. They eventually went to the perps and found out that the perp had a marijuana, like growing thing, growing like little farm going on. So he was arrested for that. So they had him in custody. Now, what they did is, and of course, April's phone was nowhere to be found. They did a lot of logistics with the phone when they did find it. They also used the logistics with this app that she had on. Now, this is, again, 2014. We see the phone calls. We see the path. We see, that there were calls placed and then her body location. So, like I said, had it not been for the police looking on social media, the police getting the witnesses to testify, the eyewitness testimony, get the sketch out there and alert policemen to see, there's a blue and white bike. How many blue and white bikes are out there? Probably a lot, but he was diligent and they were moving. They were moving on this case. And that to me is what eventually got him arrested, was because of the work that law enforcement did do, and the fact that they jumped on it immediately with the community. And he was arrested for her homicide and convicted. And the girlfriend finally came forward and testified that she awoke that night that April had been unalived. And he said, I'm going to need you to stand by me. And he was cleaning a pair of the shoes, the Jordans, that were never found. The Jordans were never found, but he was cleaning them with hand sanitizer. So the girlfriend finally came forward and testified against him. And, that's kind of what put the nail in the coffin, so to speak, on this case for them. But they had a lot of evidence because of due diligence. And I think just a lot of boots on the ground, quick movement. Penny was the hero. Penny the dog came out and alerted the couple. And, he's now behind bars. I thought, and this is the beautiful memorial gardens that have been put up in honoring her. And if you notice in the gardens, they've got a little statue of Penny in the middle of the beautiful gardens where she was found. And, of course, that's no consolation for the family, but it's just, I think it's wonderful that the community came together. Witnesses came forward. Police were involved, boots on the ground, really put, when we didn't have in 2014, we were starting to get into that electronic age, but we certainly didn't have the Ring cameras that we do now. So I think anything with the Ring cameras that we have now, there's zero reason why they cannot be found and tracked down. And also we've got the satellite imagery that you can get, the satellites. So that is April's story. And I thought, well, I'm going to do a chart. And there he is. And the composite is really nails him too. So this is the event chart from because I know you guys like to look at the event charts. I didn't map it because she was found. However, I used the time, again, the timestamp, which is important, was the time that she texted her boyfriend. Now, April, again, if the ascendant, which is over by the first house, is represented by Sagittarius, okay? So she is going to be Jupiter, okay? She's going to be Jupiter and the moon. The moon is always the co-ruler. The moon is in the 7th house with the perp. The perp is represented by Gemini, which is ruling planet is Mercury, up in the 7th house. So we've got an active 7th house with movement of the perp. If you notice, right in front of her is Pluto. The danger, it is right in front of her. With right in front of the ascendant means it's right there in her face, which is exactly what happened. And she is right next to the perp up there in the 7th house, we've got what I found was so very interesting. It was a sneak attack because she got away from him. Hey, I almost just got kidnapped. She did not allow him to advance on her. And that's when he came up from behind, and the medical examiner said, had beaten her with his helmet. And so there's Uranus, end of the matter, with the blow to the head. And if you look at where I circled, very, very wide up there is Mars, out in the open, up at the MC, midheaven. Jupiter is with Mars, which is, as we all know, Jupiter can either be a place, it's never usually a person. It's either a place, which would be a school, a church. It's usually a landmark, Jupiter. However, with Mars and the excess of 48 wounds, Jupiter makes things expand and makes it bigger. So, right there, that Jupiter Mars tells me that it was just excessive violence she was attacked with. And Rue, if you see anything else in this chart, please chime in with me. Chime in and let me know what your thoughts are on the chart. And let's see. Hi, Renee. Thank you. Lee, very sad. Hi, Jean. Yes, how awful. It's just very tragic. Tammy, oh, she's so poor baby. And Rue says, hey, Jean. Rue, chime in if you on the event chart, hun. And I agree with you, Tammy. Just wow, great job, law enforcement. Sketch looked just like him. I know, great job with the witnesses, great job with getting the information out there. And I'm going to say something about the Sebastian Rogers case, and also true, the same police department with the Summer Wells case. I think law enforcement, and who am I? It's just, this is my opinion, but I think law enforcement could keep the public a little bit more involved and not so closed mouthed about investigations and where we think this is, and hey, help us out. And I think that's why Summer Wells's case has gone cold. And unfortunately, I think Sebastian Rogers' case will as well. And I'm not pointing the finger and saying law enforcement's not doing anything with those cases, but I think they could learn a lot from the departments where things are solved immediately. If you all remember the case with Ryan and the river down in Nashville, Ryan, I believe, and they found him in the river. Again, law enforcement was very active. They kept the public, public was out searching, and they released, all the videos they had. They released everything that they could. And, I just think that when they get things and they move quickly, things just open up for them. I just thought, agree. Lee agrees. Michelle says they did their job. Great work. Exactly. I know they did. It was just phenomenal. Chart's spot on. It is spot on. And I think what's really spot on this chart is the excessive force that was used with her. And whenever we, as forensic astrologers, see where things are active up at the midheaven, that's out in the open. So the odds are when we see activities, there's going to be a pretty good outcome of the person being found, or the person's going to, return home or what have you. But I think it's when they don't say anything, look at, Lee agrees, look at Mercedes Vega. Why have they not had more press conferences? Why have they not released? Why did they not immediately go look for the camera footage for Mercedes? That case would be solved. They had eyewitnesses for Mercedes' case. I don't see a composite. They have on video when her car was dropped off in Arizona. Where's that? It's just they could learn so much. And Jean says so many times it seems to me in these charts, Sag is the ascendant. A lot. We see that a lot. We do. We see Sag a lot is the ascendant. And Linda says, more eyes, it's important. It is. And to get people out there, and even what if somebody didn't know, like we talked about Mercedes' case, if they didn't know that she was laying in the back seat unalive and they passed that car on fire and got a good look at the perp. But, they haven't even given a press conference on that case. So I think it's just that a lot of lessons, I think lessons are good when people are learned. And I'm not trying to point fingers, but I did want to show a case where things were done really well. And I like to spotlight and give kudos to the law enforcement what if that policeman just kept on driving? Hey, I'm not even on duty, or this isn't even my case. But I know they're looking for a blue and white motorcycle. If he hadn't have stopped and done that, who knows? But he went above and beyond, and he did that. So I think it's just really important. So that is the case of April. God love her. And, just beautiful gardens. It's a very tragic, sad case. But, they've got him. He's off the streets. And, they had a trial. And he's behind bars where he belongs. So we'll go over this natal chart. And what I'm doing is I'm going to read straight from my notes on this particular natal chart on the transits, because you do look up transits. There's so many of them. We do have to look them up. I know, like with the Jupiter transit, like it just moved into Gemini. We do know Jupiter is abundance. It could be blessings. It's just a nice planet. But when we see certain transits and how they interact with the natal chart, we look them up. It's kind of like tarot cards. You can read tarot cards for your entire life, but you still have to look some cards up, 70 some cards, and then 75, 76, and then reverse. So I'm going to read to you guys on Trump's chart exactly what the notes are that I took regarding his transit chart. So that's what's so interesting. So let me show you what's going on with his chart. You're going to get it. This is going to be interesting. You're going to say, we'll just put it in our back pockets, because I'm going to be really intrigued as to the outcome of this now. So this is his natal chart. And I'm going to point out a couple of things on here. Rue, if you guys, anybody see anything on this natal chart that you want to chime in on, please do so. Please, please, please. I love it. So as you can see, the natal chart are all the planets on the inside of the chart that do not move. That occurred when he was born, June 14th, 1946, in Queens, New York. That's where the planets were at the time. The green planets going around the chart are what are actively going around his birth chart right now. This is what is happening to him as we speak. This is called a transit chart. The transits are interacting with his natal chart. And I'm going to tell you, when I saw this today, I went, holy, I can't really say what I said, but you talk about, and I know Rue's looking at it going, holy, same thing I said today, because this is a lot of activity in someone's natal chart. This is huge. Now, Regulus, I should have put Regulus on there. Regulus is sitting on his ascendant at 29. 29 is a big, big degree. His ascendant birth, his birth, I'll tell you a little bit about his birth chart. His natal chart, that ascendant in Leo with Regulus, okay, that's who he is. Anytime you have a Leo person, a Leo ascendant, Leo sun, you notice their hair. It's just how it is. You always will notice a Leo's hair. They're known for that. Now, what's funny about his chart too is he's got Mars in Leo in the first house. Mars is our energy, Mars is our drive. So we look up at his sun. His sun he's a Gemini sun, right next to the North Node of Destiny and Uranus. As you can see, we got a triple conjunction up there in the 11th house of Gemini. Chatty Cathy. Okay. Then we're going to, gosh, my computer stopped for a minute. Oops, sorry about that. My computer stopped. Okay. So then we're going to look at his moon, 5th house, Sagittarius. What is the 5th house? It's things that we love, things that we enjoy. You know, so you got a Sag, Gemini, Leo. That's all I got to say about that, because, and that's why he duct tape would not stop him from talking. It just, and look at where they're all placed. Now, I'm going to show you some interesting things about this. I don't know how this situation is going to turn out. If I were a betting person, I would say it's a conviction. From a legal standpoint, I've been in the legal field for 20 years. I watch all trials. Any trial that's on, I'm into them. I watch it all. I would, if I were a betting person, I would say conviction. If I look at the astrology, I went, are you kidding me? Uranus at the look at where I circled in red where it says MC. That's the midheaven. That is your career, what people see of you, your public, how the public notices you. Uranus is sitting a conjunct, which is together with his natal midheaven. Uranus is right on his midheaven. What does that mean? Non-traditional, unconventional, significant change in career or social standing. Forward thinking, admiration from the public, but may have misunderstandings. A break free from limiting behavioral patterns. Be open to new opportunities. That's hitting him right now as we speak. Okay. Now we're going to go over and look at Jupiter, which Jupiter is the number 4, which is in his 11th house. It's just transited right into Gemini. And as you guys recall, with astrology, I have been yapping about Jupiter transiting for a week now. And Geminis, good for you. Gemini rising, Geminis, take it all in because it's yours now. You've got the abundance, you've got blessings, just now hit his house. But that Jupiter is trining Neptune, and you can see I drew the line down into the 3rd house. Okay, what does that mean? Success. It's success. It's new spiritual opportunities as well, but it's a very successful trine. It's in his 3rd house. Who rules his 3rd house? Libra. What does Libra rule over? Legal issues. Okay. We also have Mars up at the top, which is our energy and our drive. Mars right now is in Aries. It is at its best. It's at its peak. Mars is now conjunct his natal Uranus, Sun, and North Node. It's a triple conjunction. Mars is hitting that in what we call a sextile, which is a very favorable, it's just favorable. This is one of the most powerful combinations you can have right now, is hitting that part of his natal chart. It is innovative action, dynamic opportunities, likely to make progress, a period of ripening with potential channeling energy into meaningful projects, profound transformation, empowerment, success in career, and rewards. Transiting Pluto is trining his midheaven as well. His natal sun is sextiling Pluto in his first house. That, I don't know what's going to happen, you guys. I keep saying I think it's going to be a conviction. I just do. But I've never seen all this. It's fire. There's nothing else I can say about it. I read to you guys exactly what the transits were, because I looked up every one of them, because I wanted to be positive about it, because, this is such a, I don't know what you would call it, a weird time, that I didn't want to say no. I didn't want to guess. I wanted to be very accurate about it. I still say conviction, but astrology makes me. I got, when you trust the astrology. I don't know, Rue. What do you think? I don't know. This chart is lit up like a Christmas tree, and it's the thing about it is it's all very powerful transits. Now, sometimes we're taught lessons. So maybe sitting there having to not speak for how many weeks, 6 weeks or so, maybe that was a good lesson for him. I don't know. I don't know his lessons, but I know that North Node, the North Node is the soul contract, and that's getting lit up by Mars. Mars North Node, Mars in Aries. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I wanted to show you guys what's going on with it. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see. Expect the unexpected when Uranus is in a chart. And I think that's what I would look at more than anything, is Uranus up at the midheaven, is expect the unexpected. Whatever, I'm going to tell you what, right now with this Pluto, I think with this Pluto energy coming in, expect a transformation of a person that we may not even recognize with this, because this is very powerful with Pluto transits. Pluto transformations are life-changing, and they're powerful. So, I don't know. It's interesting. So that's what I've got for that, you guys. I thought you would find that interesting. So this, you guys, I also wanted to put down here just some general information for people that I looked up for missing, and information that's out there for everybody. If you know someone that has somebody that's missing, or cold cases, there are many, many, many organizations out there that are available to help people. Okay. For example, I just went in, and you can see clevelandmissing.org, coldcasefoundation.org, missingpersons.gov, missingfirst24.com, solvethecase.org, centerforthemissing.org. There are many, many organizations out there that can help people and help families. So, pass on that information. It's out there. There's a lot of information for people with missing loved ones. Uh, they're they're all out there. So I did A Child is Missing. Just go in and Google the area, and there are a lot of local chapters that can help people, and pass them along in groups. If you're in a group where there's somebody missing, just pass on the different organizations that are out there, the different search and rescue groups that pop up immediately. Our friends at Texas EquiSearch, of course, Michael, Peace River Canine Search and Rescue, and we've got Tammy. We've got other search and rescue that comes up. Yes, I will. I will do that, Michelle. I'll do that tomorrow. I will put that down where you have that list available on your page. I will. And I'll put it on Rift Nation as well, so that, there are, and the best thing to do is Google the area, because there are a lot of local areas that are out there that can help people. Coldcase.org is a great organization. They have a lot of retired people in that organization that work on cases, and they do get involved with EquiSearch and Peace River. I know Michael is all around the country right now with searches. So, just pass them along to any of these groups that we're in. They're out there. They're out there. And I thought, well, there's just a couple of them that I'll put this, A Child is Missing. I'll put all of these down. So there's that. And of course, here's the flyer for the June 22nd Astrology the Series class, in conjunction with Miss Donna and Silver Wolf Treasures and Gifts and my local area. We will have the live class from 12 to 2, and then from 3 to 5, the Zoom class, the regular astrology class. So you can register at Silverwolf, or you can PM me and astrologymeetstruecrime.com. I've got this flyer up if you'd like additional information. The first part of the class, we go over houses, planets, zodiac signs, different charting, and why we do what we do. The second portion of class is your natal chart, and we will interpret your own natal chart. So I've got natal charts with me now. I'm working on them, send them back to you guys that have registered for class, and that's how we learn. And the next class following that will be transits. Transits are fun. You can see what's ahead going on in your life, and I love them. So there you go. There's that. That's June 22nd. For more information, astrologymeetstruecrime.com. And does anybody else have anything else in the chat they want to talk about? Law enforcement, Tammy, they did do a good job. I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful Memorial Day. I hope you guys like that case again. Like I said, every week it just seems like we're dropping the ball with law enforcement. I thought it's so nice to see when they do it and they do it right. Yes, Lois, I am. Yes, that class is June 22nd, and it's sponsored by Silver Wolf Treasures and Gifts, and I am teaching that astrology course. Now, you can, if you're interested, just PM me, Joni Templeton Skinner, and I'll give you any information you would like. And then I get the birth information. I know Linda and her granddaughter are going to be in that class. Michelle will be in that class. Online, yes, Lois, online. And then when we do the transits, and then a little bit further down the road for a forensic astrology class, probably in the fall. That's going to come probably in the fall. And of course, we use Kirsty McIntosh's format and how she has taught Rue. She's taught myself, and just she's it. She's the master. Kirsty McIntosh, you can see her YouTube videos, forensic astrology. I would say her charts are 99.9% accurate. And she's taught us, graciously taught us her gift that she has. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much. Oh, you are more than welcome, Kathy. Have a great week, everybody. And Linda, can't wait. I can't wait for you and heaven to. It's going to be such a treat. Such a treat for you two. It'll be good. And what fun for grandma and granddaughter to be taking a class together. I freaking love it. Thank you, Lois. Just PM me. And Michelle will be in that. Miss Michelle. Miss Michelle will be in that class too, as well, Linda. So everybody, thank you so much. Please don't forget to hit the like button if you're on YouTube, or hit it on Facebook too. I think that helps too. And I will be back next week with another episode. Right now I don't think there's too many active cases. We've got the Sebastian case still happening, but right now, luckily, we don't have any active missing, with the exception of Sebastian, and I think that's it. But I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Mysteries. In the meantime, have a super week. Get in touch with me about the class, and have a great weekend. Thanks, you guys. Good night.